Hello and welcome to CNBC TV18. I'm Manisha Gupta and we are welcome to Commodity Champions. Well, we have seen the gold price is actually going for some profit taking. The buying in India is expected to pick up from the next week itself because that is when you see the festivals, the Akshaya Tritiya and the wedding season as well start in. It's not just gold, and by the way, the prices after the correction also are trading much on the higher side, but the street is also looking at various other options, and within that we've seen the diamond demand continue to go higher. Even the lab-grown diamonds seem to be doing quite well. So in this season, the coming season, what is it that you can buy and what are the various options that you can look at is something that we will discuss in this show right now with you. Joining us now for this discussion on the show, I am with Mr. Tehmasp Printer. He is CEO at IGI. Also with me is Mr. Colin Shah of Kama Jewellery. I'm also joined on the show by Sanket Patel of Greenlab Diamonds and Ankur Anand from HS Jewellers. Gentlemen, hi, thank you so much for joining us. Well, I'll start with the gold because the last 24 hours, the headlines clearly seem to be coming in from that one. Colin, how do you look at the big profit taking that we've seen come in for gold as a commodity? It's the biggest day decline that we've seen happen in 3 years.
Thanks, Manisha. So, like we spoke even a couple of weeks back, a few hedge funds had taken a large speculative position in gold, and there's been profit taking because we had this unprecedented bull run in the last 10 days when it nearly crossed 2400. So we've seen some profit taking, but I think it's still going to continue to be volatile over the next 1-2 weeks. So we'll see, I think, ups and downs because we are still not out of the woods in terms of overall data and the geopolitical situation.
Colin, apart from that, I was also looking at the GJPC data and it shows that the exports also hasn't been such a great number. So whether it's about cut and polished diamonds or studded jewelry for that matter, all those numbers actually show a decline on a year-on-year basis. The only thing that seems to be shining bright is the plain gold jewelry.
The plain gold jewelry, in terms of volume or kilos, it's more or less the same, but the value went up. So, we've had a spike of 15%, close to 15-16% on the plain gold jewelry. Studded jewelry, because gold is a smaller component and we had a slight dip in the diamond prices. So in terms of number of pieces, again, we are more or less where we used to be last year, which is a good sign. But since the diamond prices went down, we've had a dip of around 10-15% on the studded side. Having said that, the industry is not so disheartened because it expected worse, considering what's happening, across the world. So now we're cautiously optimistic about the year ahead, especially after all the elections are over.
That's a good one then. The industry was expecting much lower numbers, but we have slightly better. So this is a good way to work, really. Ankur, this one is to you. And there is one trend that we've seen within the industry, as Colin also said, that even as the prices have been volatile, the numbers don't really add up as compared to previous year or the last 5-year average as well. We've still seen expansions. We've still seen a lot of euphoria continue into the space.
Yes, Manisha, even though we may not have seen so much of growth in the physical amount of gold, but like Mr. Colin said, yes, the prices have made a lot of impact, but they've also put in a lot of confidence in the customer, as well as in the investor who is buying a lot of plain gold jewelry, as well as gold jewelry, as well as with the new generation coming in, there's a little bit of a shift to diamond also. But at the same time, yes, there is a lot of expansion going on, a lot of expansion with in the organized sector as well as in family-owned businesses, because gold as a commodity overall, even for the jeweler, is giving them profit in the sense growth, in the sense of prices increasing.
Well, it is, yes. Whatever inventories that you're holding with the price movement, that valuation, of course, continues to go higher. I want to get on to lab growns, but I also want to understand first on what is the penetration of natural diamonds that we have within the country vis-a-vis lab growns.
Right. So I think Mr. Colin Shah would be better to answer with the natural diamonds to you. Or obviously, Tehmasp is also with us today. Because for me to comment on natural diamonds, obviously with the penetration, I wouldn't be having the 100% sure figures for you to, or for me to comment on. But if you ask me with the lab-grown diamond or how that is moving forward or how we are carrying forward with, across India, it would be easier for me to go ahead with that.
Sure. So let us know about the lab-growns then. What do you think is the penetration right now?
So lab-grown diamond obviously have taken a slow growth in India if you consider the last 5 years. But this year and the end of last year, obviously we've seen a lot of growth that's happened. Right now in India, I believe the consumer market has understood the differences and the newcomers. Like for example, there are many people who are coming up with new jewelry stores. Offering lab-grown diamond at the same buyback value or same return policies as the mined diamond. So obviously they are getting there, and I would say probably we are getting there, but it's not that much. Obviously, it's 3 to 4% as of now, maybe, and maybe in the coming days it will 100% grow even bigger than this.
Sure. With that kind of a base, of course, the numbers do look great there. Colin, so coming back to you, so if we are looking at 2 to 3% of a lab-grown penetration, as of now, of course, these are unconfirmed numbers. How is the number with natural diamonds?
Natural diamonds in terms of penetration, it's 20% more or less now across India in terms of studded jewelry. So if you take any retailer, and if you look at the hallmarking data also, we hallmark more than 1 crore pieces every month, and around, depending on the month, but it's between 15 and 20% out of that is studded jewelry. So I would rate that as pretty accurate data where the penetration is right now on naturals. In terms of, I guess the outlook, India for natural diamonds continues to be the brightest spot in the world. Believe it or not, because it's where I guess the other categories penetration isn't very high. And most of the large retailers stay very committed to the, having only natural in their retail store right now. So natural looks bright in India even this season.
All right. Well, there's a lot to choose from, and with various conversations that we've been having with jewelry sector participants, we do understand that there's a lot of interest now coming in for diamonds, naturals, of course, and the lab-growns as well. Mr. Printer, I remember a conversation I had with you perhaps 5 or 6 months ago, where you'd said, "Hira hai sada ke liye, and Hira also hai sab ke liye," and that line did really work. And this is a time that we were talking about the lab-growns as well. So where we stand right now, and of course the industry has gone through its ups and downs, but from where we are right now, looking forward to the festive season and Akshaya Tritiya and the wedding season that begins from the next week itself, how are you looking at the kind of work that is passing through you? Because you are the better judge since every piece has to be certified.
See, the thing is, at IGI, we certify both. We certify diamonds. It's not that, what we certify is diamonds, and then what is the origin? It can be earth mined, or it can be man-made, or in the laboratory. Okay. So my contention is a diamond is a diamond. And like I said earlier, and which was a little controversial, that Hira is sada ke liye and Hira is sab ke liye. What I meant is the buying decision is taken on a price point. Diamond is forever. Okay. I mean, if you see the statistics, 1.5% of the Earth's population buys diamond, but that is all natural. But now, since with the lab growns, it becomes more and more affordable, more consumers are getting into the fray. And with that, what happens is everybody wants to upgrade. So, you get new consumers into the diamond trade. And then these consumers will finally, when you have the money, you buy natural. See, natural is a gift of the nature, right? So what I'm trying to say is lab-grown is the new disruptor. It has shaken up the industry, but natural is there to stay. And lab-grown will complement the growth of the consumers into the diamond world. And we are certified both.
So, Mr. Printer, well, yes, that is an awareness that perhaps the street is getting now with the kind of numbers that we hear from the lab-grown industry as well. What I was, talking to somebody and got to know that there are 6,000 to 8,000 reactors right now, with more and more being added on a weekly basis. And we're looking at very strong numbers by the end of this year, and a 5-year average is also that I was talking to somebody. But the whole idea is about transparency. I mean, as you said, the disclosures, the origin, and are people, do you think there's enough perception, awareness, adaptability around that?
I always say that, when you buy a jewelry piece, get it certified before you pay your money. Get it certified by IGI so that, you are rest assured that you're getting what you're paying for. The most important thing is to find out the origin of the diamond in today's date. Now that lab grown exists at a price point which is considerably lower than the natural. So you have a certified whether it is a lab grown or it is a natural. You know that with the certificate, you are getting the value for the money that you're paying. That is most important, because people will. I mean, it's business. So as long as you protect yourself with certification, I think you're fine. However, having said that, lab grown is more tuned currently to the West. India is still a traditional place where natural will prevail. And there will come a point in time when, when the acceptance is there. See, it's all basically a point of acceptance. If I accept that, a diamond is a diamond, and if I don't have the ability or the means to purchase a natural, I'm actually getting a new consumer into the food.
Sure.
And that is the strength of a lab grown. And every human being wants to upgrade, yeah. So at some point in time, you will upgrade.
That's exactly what I'm going to tell you. I was talking to a lab-grown owner very recently, and she said that, if you're buying naturals for 4 lakhs, you might as well buy a lab-grown for 2 lakhs, and then you invest that 2 lakhs, and you grow that money, and then you upgrade into a natural going forward. So yes, there are various stories that are being woven around that. But on that note, have to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll of course talk about the pricing part, the authenticity of that, all of that after this very short break. Welcome back, and let's keep it to hardcore diamonds now, because what we are seeing as the upcoming season, there's a lot of aspirational buying that we expect happening in case of diamonds. Well, the millennial, the younger ones, and of course the newer generation is quite moving in that direction. Colin, going forward, while there's a lot of work happening in naturals and lab growns as well, would you say that both can coexist? There is certification for both as well, and there's a market for both too.
I think there is a market, so I'll start in the reverse order. There is a market for both because, as Tehmasp said, its affordability also is a challenge, and every consumer in the world aspires to buy a diamond. So when it comes to affordability, of course, lab grown is more affordable than natural. So there's going to be a market for both. Now, how they meaningfully coexist is, I think, going to depend a lot on how the industry treats, I guess, both of them. Because one, over the years, natural has been bought as an investment value, and how do we protect that is going to be, I guess, the challenge and the opportunity for the industry long term. As far as transparency is concerned, I guess this industry is as transparent as it gets. There's certification for everything possible now. So I guess the transparency factor we've addressed on the diamonds and the gold part of it, with hallmarking. So transparency is there, market is there, but long term, if the industry is able to manage, the coexistence of both, then it will be a healthy industry for both natural and lab grown. But if for whatever reason we are not able to do that, then it's going to be a bumpy ride going forward. But right now, the way it looks, and if you take US, which is, say, a more mature lab grown market, more or less what's happened over there is that whether it's engagement rings, there's natural and lab grown, and even in the fashion space, there's natural and lab grown. So there is some amount of confusion on how they can coexist. So now in the other parts of the world, if we take the learning of the US and are somehow able to differentiate that, there is a particular kind of product line which is in natural, and there is a particular kind of in lab grown, without cannibalizing both the categories, then I think both can beautifully coexist and flourish from here on.
Well, absolutely. Mr. Printer, would you say that there is while of course industry is looking within itself on how to deal with this, but there needs to be a lot of awareness initiatives that need to be taken here. More perception changing perhaps is something that the industry will need to work on.
Yeah, I agree with Collins when he says that, both can coexist. Okay. And what is very important is that one factor you have to keep in mind is that both are diamonds, only that differentiation is really in the price points and affordability. So one can use the other to, like I said before, I mean, more and more consumers can enter into the fold. Like today, in the past, 1.5% of the Earth's population was buying diamonds. It can go up to 5 to 8 to 10% because of the affordability. And then these consumers naturally enhance their status by going into natural. Natural is natural, and it's a beauty which Earth has given us. And lab grown is a man-made item. So man-made item generally can be produced in large quantities. So a lot other people can also enjoy. But the most important aspect is the ability to have the expertise to differentiate between the two. And then that goes a long way for transparency. And that is what IGI has tried to do all along these years.
Sanket, coming to lab growns, and the data suggests that 10 to 15 retail brands are in lab grown now, whether it's a shop on shop or there's a lot of funding and investments as well coming in for the lab grown startups now as they are expanding more and more within India and outside as well. How do you look at this trajectory going forward?
Firstly, I would also want to make a small comment on how lab grown and mined diamonds can complement each other. I would, we all know that it's not a newcomer in the market. It's been lab-grown diamond was just blown up in 2013, 14, roughly about then, when people start to get to know, okay, there's a category called as lab-grown diamonds. But if you factually see that lab-grown diamonds were way long before that, and they were just identified or maybe categorized in 2012, 2013. So obviously, we as lab-grown diamond we've never ever said or never would want to differentiate between mined and lab, because they both have their own space, and we've never said that you shouldn't buy mined and you should buy lab. But it's the consumer's choice in the end. So I mean, there's no way of conflict, or none of the growers have tried to ever do that, or none of the mined diamond manufacturers have done that. So I don't see that. And obviously, you saying people coming in the lab-grown diamond space, there are new companies coming in. Obviously, there are big houses thinking of it. They're already in talks with us, many of them. We have ongoing processes with many big houses who are planning to get into lab-grown diamonds. There are newcomers who started with lab-grown diamonds. We've seen many jewelry brands come in all the states. And the inquiry that we generate on daily basis is growing day by day. So obviously, there's a very swift and good move towards lab-grown diamond, and the investment coming in, making a big pocket. So we would want more and more people to join in. So the bigger the well, the more the water, for everyone to distribute.
All right. Ankur, this one is to you. So while, the other thing that the people who are spending money would want to know, and whether it's going to be upgraded later on or not, sustainability is one part which the street really seems to be talking about right now. The other is the costing. And the third point really is the designing part here. Where do you see maximum attrition coming in for?
I would say the maximum attrition coming in would be more on the designing part. Yes. So that is the section that is seeing a lot of attrition. The retail sector as such is changing with the coming in of the new generation. There's a lot of shift to diamonds, but everybody is looking for a lot of exclusivity. So certainly, yes, we are not seeing, as a retailer, we are not seeing much of an attrition towards lab-grown diamonds. Everybody still wants to possess a natural diamond as well as they get a lot of guarantee, a lot of buyback policies, a lot of over a period of time, a little bit of growth, certainly with National Diamonds. So I think with regards to National Diamonds, there's not much of an attrition at all. Yes, certainly that grown for me is a very, very small factor that contributes to my sales portfolio.
Okay.
It is mostly and basically majority is natural diamonds.
Well, just to clarify that this is not a mined versus lab-grown diamond conversation at all. This is about both markets existing, and this is about ensuring that you know what you're buying, at what cost you're buying, and the importance of transparency and certification that comes along with it. Mr. Printer, a lot of numbers pass through you. Would you say in the last 1 year or so, when you look at the growth in sense of certification in many of these diamonds, how has the mined been and how has lab-grown seen an increase as?
I mean, today, it would be 50-50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it would be 50-50, at least in the IGI laboratories, where, I mean, we're doing enough value-wise, because, I mean, when my certification is at a price, from the value point of view, we are virtually at 50-50%. But the actual value of the natural diamond is far higher. What I wanted to make a point is that, recently, everybody knows Ram Mandir and the idol, Ram Lalla. The entire jewelry on the idol is in natural diamonds and rubies and sapphires and emeralds, and it's all certified by IGI. Okay, so now this is the natural one. When the Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to the US on his last trip, he gifted Jill Biden a 7.5 carat lab grown, signifying the 75 years of independence. So you understand, both are epic events. One has been given a lab-grown diamond. It's a diamond. I mean, 7.5 carat diamond. And here the entire idol of Ram Lalla has been adorned with natural diamonds and other gemstones. You understand? So both have their place equally. It depends.
Well, yes.
The thing is, both were certified by IGI. Certification is the most important. I'm not saying business, but certification gives you confidence, gives consumer the confidence that, they can buy either, and it's whatever is affordable to them, they should go in for it. In today's day, tomorrow they can upgrade.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Disclosures, certifications, transparency, and of course, awareness is something that are key to this. And as Colin was pointing out earlier, the most important thing is that hallmarking and certification are in place now. So this is something that you should be aware of before you head out and buy whatever jewelry that you would want. Colin, a final word with you. And well, yes, from next month onwards, it's the buying season that is returning, and there is so many options to go out and buy for. But is there any back of the envelope calculation that the jewelry sector is doing on what kind of sales are we looking at in sense of domestic markets now?
In terms of domestic market, what most of the retailers countrywide are looking at is a 10 to 15% growth in terms of value. But in terms of volume, it will be flattish. So that's what everyone's looking at. To give you an example, if they have a customer and, generally a customer in India is always coming with a budget. We're a very budget focused country in general. So if they're coming to buy 25 lakhs of jewelry, they will buy 25 lakhs. So if the gold rate has gone up, it will be that many less grams which they will get in their hand. So that's what the market is going to be. And we're all looking at a, low double-digit growth.
Okay. Colin, also,
Actually,
would you say that elections can be a bit of a dampener because not too much jewelry moves around?
Yeah, that's why I was saying. So this year, in the 4 quarters, practically except for Akshaya Tritiya, this first quarter is not going to be that great because of all the restrictions on movement and cash and, jewelry going from one place to the other. So if you remove this 1 quarter, then we only have 3 quarters. So everyone's expecting April, May, June to be not so great. July, August, September, traditionally because of monsoons, Shraddh, all that is always never so good. But October to March will catch up in a big way for, the first 6 months not being so good.
As is always the case. All right. Okay, so there's plenty happening in the next couple of quarters, but as is said, if the prices are rise, and India is a price-sensitive country in that sense as well, you could be looking at those buyings coming back, and with the festival season and the wedding season as well, even a lower double-digit growth, but that is what the industry is anticipating right now. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in and talking about various aspects of jewelry as an industry, which does encompass of gold and diamonds of all kinds as well. We appreciate your time. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.